Hello and welcome to episode 117 of the Rewards Canada podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk everything loyalty with Jason Beales, who is the Chief Strategy and Commercial Officer for Air Miles. We'll do a quick look back at 2024 and then discuss what we may think may be in store for the upcoming year in 2025. Welcome to the podcast, Jason.
Thanks. Great to be here, Patrick.
We're glad to have you here. Before we dive into things, please tell us a little about yourself and some background of your role with Air Miles.
My history is pretty multifaceted and it's not conventional in the loyalty space. I had some entrepreneurial beginnings, and then after business school, subsequently went into finance. I kind of marry those two backgrounds into what I do today, which is helping the team with pretty much everything that's revenue oriented with the firm. We have a myriad of different products. We continue to add different loyalty products, and so we're laser focused on embedding those in the legacy sort of broad platform, and it keeps us busy.
Oh, it's great. Thanks for the background there. So yeah, let's just get right into it. That's what everybody wants to hear. Wants to hear what's been going on. So we'll start off with like a kind of a recap of 2024, and I guess we'll maybe even go a little bit further past or behind. I guess the word I'm looking for, 2024. What would you say are some like the biggest wins that Air Miles has had over the past? This is about 18 months since Bank of Montreal took you guys over. So whether it's been Air Miles in general or even versus the industry, if you can let us know what kind of what we've seen happen at Air Miles over the past 18 months.
It's been quite a journey. Anyone at Air Miles will tell you we don't shy away from volatility, and last 18 months is a means to epitomize that. BMO coming in was material for a brand which needed to convey to the public some semblance of stability. As I said, tumultuous past for Air Miles, ups and downs, partner adds, partner departures, etc. BMO's breadth, BMO's longevity, it adds that aforementioned stability, which I think consumers and collectors and partners needed to see. Most importantly, over the last 18 months is just calling what the landscape looks like in loyalty, and just admitting that it's become more competitive. And what does competition breed? It breeds a friction for the value prop. It means that there are more options for folks to go out and choose if they want to turn left and turn right. And to that end, the value prop has to improve. It has to. You have to win over the consumer in this arena. In years past, there were a smaller number of players, and they didn't have to invest as much because there weren't as many alternatives. But now it really is a battle to make sure that wallet share and mind share coexist. And how does that happen? It happens through investment. So, what better kind of entity to back you from an investment perspective than a balance sheet of a Canadian bank? Air Miles was already investing, but this gives us the heft that we required to really amplify the resurgence of the program. And you're going to see that theme across this discussion. We don't shy away from acknowledging that Air Miles wanted and needed a resurgence. It always had the breadth. It's got 31 years. It's got probably the most robust Canadian data set of any entity out there. But what did it need? It needed to win back the hearts and minds of the country, and this is a path to doing so. So I would say that's the hallmark of the last 18 months, the investment, the rebrand, a reorientation of how Air Miles communicates with consumers. Previously, it was very, very focused on earn, very focused on where to be. This has been a pivot, which many programs actually try to deter because it has balance sheet implications as well to redemptions. And we're a believer that the flywheel will never really work unless you get that instantaneous gratification by going out, redeeming for an e-voucher, redeeming for a Dyson vacuum, getting on a plane. All of those things need to manifest for folks to remember that they have that warm and fuzzy connection with their loyalty program, and that's what we're really striving for.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's always something they've always said in the loyalty industry. As soon as you can have somebody redeem, right, they become more valuable. They like the program. They feel like they've gotten something, so they'll continue with it. And you guys have pretty much every redemption possible under the sun from as little as $10 up to, tens of thousands of dollars if you really wanted to like do an ultimate vacation type thing. So you guys have it all.
Well, that's right. I mean, when I joined Air Miles, I even chuckled. We even have something called a personal shopper where Onyx collectors can call in and actually have an individual shop for them for anything that's even outside of our catalog. So we literally can redeem for anything on the planet, no matter how audacious. Someone redeemed for a car actually over the last 2 years. So the bookends are the world's our oyster sort of thing.
That's amazing. That's so cool. I've always wondered about that personal shopper. I've never used it personally. I've never been on it. It's always just gold myself. But
Yeah,
I've
we'll
read
work on
about
that.
some people who use it for sure. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, like you said, lots of investment. You guys have been doling out the miles, so many miles, so many offers get people in there, and now you can actually see kind of a shift too in the focus on the redemption side. I'm seeing, you're having more of these redemption offers where you're getting the rebates, encouraging people to use their points, which is great. Now, with all this said, it's been, I mean, I would say it's been a pretty quick, I don't like to use the word turnover, but in the last 18 months, what's happened from, I guess, the previous iteration of Air Miles to the BMO Air Miles, there's been a lot happening over the last 18 months. And have there been really any big challenges or so, like from that in that time period?
I mean, I'd imagine you speak with a lot of people in this industry who have the rose-colored glasses on, but quite frankly, we'll always admit this is a perilous sector. As I said, competition continues to escalate. Literally, there's a new program seemingly every month, especially in Canada. We have a third party research house. I love quoting this because I think it really underscores how daunting the mountain is that we have to climb on a daily basis. Uh, they quantified that the average Canadian is part of 19 loyalty programs, yet only engages with 7 of them. So think about that for a moment. It's easier to get folks to sign up than it was in the past, which is great because that is the first threshold they need to pass through. But remarkably hard to keep their attention, to keep their interest, to generate value for them, and for that perceived value to persist and actually culminate in behavior. So, and we have the added stressor of acknowledging that not only do we have to fulfill every one of our partners' goals and their KPIs and exactly what they want to drive, especially those who have their own programs or those who have their own apps or whatnot that need proliferation. So we have to focus on that on the micro scale, but then on a macro scale, we've also got to make sure that people are cognizant and using the Air Miles program at large as well.
Is it-
So you'll see. I'll touch on it later, but um, you'll see our cross shop initiatives have yielded the greatest results, and I do think that will be probably the future of loyalty to come. But we'll
Yeah,
touch on
I
that.
agree. I mean, there's been, so much has already been done in the loyalty industry that you're looking for these new avenues, and it is this whole linking, this cross shopping, this combination of programs or merchants, coming together, or in your guys' case, a loyalty program with a merchant. They may not be 100% full on partner of yours, but there's those kind of like your guys' Dollarama, right? With card linked offers, things like
Mhm.
that. So yeah, I
It's
definitely see that.
you hit the nail on the head. So what are the headwinds? The headwinds are you always have to stay fluid. You always have to stay nimble. So we had a partner departure in grocery. What did we do? We curated a receipt scan technology so you could actually earn miles at 96% of grocers across Canada. There's an example. It's a microcosm of turning lemonade out of the lemon, and discerning what is the market going to bear, what is potentially going to add more value for the collector than they previously had, and let's stop looking at it in sort of a rigid way, which maybe our predecessors did. So
Yeah. No, you guys have definitely been, yeah, last 18 months, a big turnaround for sure for you guys. So congratulations on doing what you guys have done. I mean, the Air Miles right now is an exciting part of the Canadian loyalty industry. So outside of Air Miles, let's talk about what really stood out to you, say, in the loyalty industry over the past 12 months. Was there anything that like took you by surprise, or anything that you'd like to share with us?
I mean, this is a realm where everyone has to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, simply put, and it's a perpetual marathon race. It's not a sprint. You can have success in any given promotion, but at the end of the day, your actives are perpetually measured, and how many folks are engaging with your program are perpetually measured, and that number changes on a weekly basis. So yeah, we keep a keen eye on what everyone is doing, especially our closest competitors. We have a special warm part in our hearts to stay extra focused on the fuel category. It seems like everyone is coming up with new and creative ways to communicate value there. As you've seen, the CPL orientation of not just ours but some of our competitors has flipped the notion of loyalty on its head, because it is loyalty, but it's actually discounting, which
That's right.
usually is a mutually exclusive phenomenon. Usually, you either earn or you discount; they don't come in concert. That's why what we've done with Shell, and when you layer on CAA, I think is a pretty magical solution, because it is that hidden gem of marrying earn with discounting concurrently, which is very rare. Um, but yeah, I'd be remiss not to mention. I think directionally, what Aeroplan and Bomboy did was really creative. Two very strong brands that are trying to find synergies between who's outside their respective Venn diagrams. Uh, I know the market feedback was a little disappointed that the richness of the cross pollination of the tier sharing was not necessarily there. It's what we deliberate every day of our lives when we're talking about link loyalty. What is the right solution? What is the adequate value on each side? How is it not just synergistic for both groups, but how do you actually share customers while relegating one brand at one moment and then giving it supremacy at another, making sure you don't pervert their own marketing messaging. It's actually remarkably nuanced on making sure that link loyalty assures that both sides are getting what they want and that the economics are sound. So that's absolutely what we're watching, and it's what we're curating ourselves to.
Yeah, yeah, link loyalty. I mean, that's been one of the emerging trends for that's we've seen across many programs doing it. We've seen yourselves doing it. Aeroplan, like you mentioned, they have their Marriott, and we're seeing it in the gas space. There's a lot there, like you said, and you guys have really pushed that beyond even with your discounts for having the BMO Air Miles Mastercards. It's just an insane space, crazy what's going on there with all these different programs connecting there. So I think that's a perfect segue into what we think is going to happen for 2025. I think we're going to continue to see link loyalty. But what do you think are going to be the biggest trends for 2025? And I'm thinking more of, for the consumers, what are they going to see rather than more on the like kind of behind the scenes with the programs?
Another stat we like to quote was from the folks at Forrester. They were saying that they believe 2025 is going to see a decline of as much as 25% in brand related loyalty. They believe in a time of economic strife, which of course is upon us everywhere you look. Uh, the value pursuit is going to trump the brand pursuit. And I think that's very important to recognize, because if we segue to a year where folks are a little less devoted to any one banner and they are value seeking, and we've seen this in our market studies on grocery, a massive bifurcation, smaller baskets. Folks are no longer uh, devote displaying devote allegiance to any one location, but they're actually shopping at several. They're willing to cross the road for greater value or a greater discount. I think that's what we're going to continue to see as long as there's whispers of recessionary times in Canada. Rates have dropped, but they unequivocally still hurt every household. So I think people have to acclimatize to that. That's why we really lean into what we think is our differentiator, which is the coalition. Because the coalition has a myriad of entities that can shoulder the brunt of the costs, and everyone can share it and make it richer. Uh, But secondly, it shows that we can have a diversified offering, so that you don't have to just choose the one, oligopoly that you're forced to your whole life. You do have a few options in your stable.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree with you on value chasing versus brand chasing now in the loyalty industry. I know I'm even thinking about that lots. I see all these different offers come through. You were talking about the fuel space, about gas. I'll see your guys' offers with Shell. I'll see other offers from other loyalty programs, and it's like, yeah, maybe I should really take them up on those offers. And I'm seeing that a lot online too, with people talking about that they're going to different grocery stores, they're splitting up their grocery shops.
Yeah.
I know I write about it on our website too, that you get these offers, earn so many points when you spend $300 in a grocery shop. I don't think that's happening very much anymore. I can just speak from my personal experience. I'm doing $50 here, $50 there, something like that. So it's uh, so yeah, I agree 100% that it's going to be more value chasing loyalty in the shopping space versus the brand space. Speaking of the industry, so we were talking kind of consumer, what we're thinking for 25. What do you think is going to happen in the industry itself? Do you think there's still some room for growth and innovation in the industry in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I think there always has to be. As I said, you gotta keep up with the race. I think it is an arms race. We definitely have something akin to R&D in our world, and we have sort of new facets and new paths to earn and redeem coming. Hopefully in the very near future. So we'll be able to chat about that soon. But I think there's perpetual innovation. I think people get bored and you lose their engagement otherwise. I think even conventional digital interface has to get sexier, more fun, gamified. Folks get bored quicker. You need a reason to open an app these days, because otherwise you've got too many apps on your phone and you don't actually get to searching your offer page, right? So who would have thought just a matter of years ago everyone was still married to their plastic cards,
Yeah.
and now almost everyone has their card embedded in their app. So and that was an enabling tool to make sure that more swipe rate would ensue and that it was easier for the consumer to actually have it in their hand. I know fuel struggles from older technology where you actually have to physically use a card often at the tanks, and you see that to the detriment of swipe rates. Like either someone leaves it in their glove compartment, or they don't have it handy, or it's too cold because we live in Canada, etc. And you don't want to belabor, or you don't pull it out quickly enough, and then suddenly it doesn't resonate, and you don't want to do it again. All of those things. So that's why actually one of the better innovations of 2024, which led to some of our greatest successes, was the embedding of Air Miles in the Shell Go Plus app. It's one of the best apps I've used, and I'm not just saying that because we work with them. I think it makes life easier for Canadians. I think it makes a usually frustrating experience infinitely less frustrating, and it streamlines the payment mechanism so that you don't have to worry about not getting your attribution for your earn because it's already embedded. So I think you're going to see that. We're already talking to some of our partners about being embedded in their own apps. Everyone wants to go digital. Everyone appreciates that there's a migration away from brick and mortar, albeit slower than people anticipated. So we got to be there, and I think the entire industry is going to follow suit.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I really enjoy using your guys' app. Well, the Shell app with the integration with Air Miles. It has, my CAA discounts in there. I can do my cash miles redemption right there in the app with Shell. Everything's set up there. It does make it really easy. Hopefully the next step, this one's tough. I still get my Safeway gas coupons every once in a while for the Shell that's attached to the Safeway, where we have to go in. But like you said, sometimes, and that speaks truly to what you said, is I will sometimes forego using the coupon if I don't feel like going in, to use it at that time, and maybe I'll use it next time type things. So,
and it all leans into each other, right? So you don't go in, you don't use the coupon. They don't get the data that you wanted to use the coupon and went in. Then they can't personalize offers for you because they don't have as rich data on you, and therefore what you're receiving on your app or or at home is not going to be as good a fit for what you want to see. So then you'll have disengagement, and then it all lends to each other. Data doesn't necessarily have to be this ominous, intrusive force. It can actually be better because, if you have a Bernese Mountain Dog, you want a promotion that can feed your Bernese Mountain Dog, not a kitten. And if they know that about you, it'll save you time, and hopefully it'll save that household dollars. So
that's right.
That's a good example.
Yeah. I think we'll see more of that in 2025 too, I think better personalization. Personalization has been talked about in loyalty for probably at least a decade, if not longer now. As they become better at utilizing the data and getting the software behind it to analyze it properly. But I've been slowly seeing trends where personalized offers, even in other loyalty programs, are starting to become more relevant to me, which is great. Because not even just a year ago, I was speaking at a conference, and it was like, I guess just shy of a year, on how a lot of the data in how we see it as consumers was not being used properly because there were no relevant offers coming through. But I'm starting to see more and more relevant offers. So, do you foresee any new avenues towards earning and redeeming in the loyalty industry, or have we reached the peak there?
No, I mean we were tasked. This leans into that aforementioned R&D side of things. We were tasked with trying to figure out, how do we solve the problem of integration being overwhelming for a partner? We as management, but also collectors, take for granted the remarkable lift that is required for someone just to be able to take your collector number and then give you miles for a transaction. A fully integrated earn and burn partner in brick and mortar, that can be a 6-month affair. That can cost a lot of money. It can deploy many people. So there's a massive deterrent, especially if you haven't de-risked the decision. And nowadays, a loyalty solution, it doesn't just sit on one person's desk. It's actually a pretty robust decision across an entire organization. So we are coming up with incrementally less obtrusive means to join the program as a partner, so that individuals can, even if they're small businesses, can be issuers without having to climb that magnificent hurdle. And I think 2025 we're going to have a couple of those. This CLO, the card linked offers, was the first foray which the industry has embraced because it's so unobtrusive. It doesn't take integration. It doesn't necessarily take costs from the collector perspective. It doesn't even take a second card out of your wallet. It's just your behavior is what it is with your payment mechanism, and you get attribution for it. So we're just going to continue to emulate that open and flexible path where the easier we can make it for a collector to earn, the higher propensity we're going to see of them actually earning. So that's the path.
Yeah. So speaking of CLO or card-linked offers, you recently expanded Air Miles card-linked offers to include BMO debit cards. Are there any plans to further expand it, perhaps beyond just MasterCard and those debit cards? Because you guys are facing increased competition in that CLO market, and some other programs are allowing basically all cards under the sun into their CLO program. So I'm just curious if that's something you guys are considering.
So I would say two things to that. Number one, the simple answer is yes. The more the merrier. Remember, this program is applicable to all Canadian MasterCards at this time now. I think that's a really poignant stat because it shows it doesn't necessarily have to be a bank-related solution. Yep. There are MasterCards which are not BMO, which will still be applicable for earning as long as you have a collector number. And yes, we've had discussions about the notion of many other credit cards. The other BMO credit cards, which aren't Air Miles cards, even crossing the chasm and the notion of Visa, expanding to other debit cards, etc. The debit card nuance is really special though, because I think that is a payment mechanism that A, is devoid of interchange fees, so the partners like it, and B, is, again, going back to the economic turmoil, more people want smaller baskets to be paid for with debit and not accrue any liability against it. So I think there's a lot of fun we can have with that, and certain genres and sectors are going to really migrate towards the debit. But CLO, just to be crystal clear, is we think it's a really powerful tool, but it's also a conduit to a stepping stone. As said, Air Miles continues to rebuild and rebrand and flourish. And what we like using CLO to do is proving to these partners that we can affect change, we can increase their baskets, we can increase frequency. People care about the currency, and once we reach that point, it's a stepping stone to something grander and more formalized integration.
You made a very good point there. A lot of consumers just consider the loyalty program as something for consumers. But somebody like Air Miles or a lot of these different coalition programs that are or programs are trying to become coalition programs, they're also there for the merchants. They're there for the businesses to help them bring customers in, to help them, with their data, personalized offers, things like that. And like you said, mentioned these card linked offers are that stepping ground to show the merchants that, hey, there is value in these bigger loyalty programs, in these type of partnerships. So.
It's a perpetual tug of war from our seat because use whatever cliche you want as a chicken and egg, horse and cart, etc. You need the collector to be happy to placate the partner so that they're getting the consumerism which they desire. But you need the right partners to placate the collectors, or they won't care. That's right. So we're continually always looking through a dual lens at Air Miles. How can we make sure that we're fulfilling what the partner needs and fulfilling what the collector wants at the same time?
Yeah. You're trying to make both parties happy at the same time.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's right.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get close to wrapping up the podcast here. Is there anything forthcoming with Air Miles in 2025 that you'd be able to share with our viewers, listeners, readers? What can we expect from you guys?
I think you're going to see glimmers of the Air Miles of old. We look back at the fortress which it previously used to boast. I think what is required is assurance that more partners will be growing. CLO, for example, we added approximately 20 new partners in the month of October alone, for example. I think you're going to see that trajectory escalate. I think you're going to learn that we're not shying away from the mid-cap entities. I think you're going to be able to stand on a block and hopefully look left, look right, and look straight and have 3 alternatives on how to earn. Maybe 1 or 2 of them resonate with you or your family. Maybe all 3 do, but if we are hopefully everywhere, then it'll give you that option set. The other thing you're also going to see is massive investment and a lean into this collect more moments mantra, which is the rebrand. Look for remarkably rich redemption opportunities. Look for stacking opportunities when you see flash offers or whatnot, which make it exponentially richer than it normally should be. Our management team is always boasting that people should ARB our program. They should take advantage of the opportunities and they should boast about it, because if you do manipulate the high times of when the richest value rears its head, it can be really, really lucrative. And you don't even need to use it every day for that to happen. If you layer on the credit card and that multiplier on top of that, then suddenly you're earning even in a wholesale club or at a alcohol play location, and so you're perpetually earning, even though you're doing your everyday right. behaviors. So we're really excited that it's probably going to be the loudest program of 2025. BMO wants to continue to invest and scream from the rooftops. We're going to continue to make sure that the momentum pushes through. So and I think the one differentiator is that we're going to reach out to Canadians. Previously, we were very good at reaching out to collectors, but it's time that we reinvigorate for everyone who either hasn't been using the program or hasn't joined the program yet. So that'll be exciting.
That is exciting news. And you guys hear that, all the Roars Canada community. I mean, I know a lot of people have been jumping on a lot of your Air Miles offers. People are still learning too. I just had somebody on Instagram a few months ago who didn't realize they could stack, like, say, the offers like from Shell with CAA and the coupons and all this stuff. It's like, so yeah, it's just amazing what you guys have been doing in that space in terms of, really putting out the outsized value in terms of earning. And now we're
And
starting to see those redemption offers too.
well, I would say the one thing that we're not shy about, which other programs would be, is we have certain mechanisms where you can go out and earn air miles concurrent with other programs as well. So when you say stacking, we're not adverse to you going to a rival program and earning both currencies at the same time. In fact, I think that makes the value proposition stronger and much more sticky. So when you ask what does the future look like, I think cross-pollination of programs could also be a nuance which is really pervasive.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's already big in the online shopping space, right? So you go
That's
through
right.
Air Miles shops, shop at Sephora, you'll get your Beauty Insider points or whatever
That's
they
right.
have and all those type of things, and still earn your Air Miles. So it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I'm excited to see what you guys have coming up for 2025. To let our Rewards Canada listeners, viewers, readers know, we'll probably have Jason on again in a few months. Again, we've been already discussing, to see where things go in 2025 with the program. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great.
And that's all she wrote for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for tuning in. Be sure to help spread the word so that we keep bringing you the best loyalty content in Canada. Share the podcast, hit the like button, leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening platform. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel if you don't do so yet. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.